Hello and welcome to the Just Another Live Stream fancy event that I like to put on once a week. Today I'm joined by I'm not really quite sure how to describe him. He's a podcaster, super nice guy. He's out of the great state of Texas. Let's not try to hold that against him. I'm trying to make him laugh over the microphone. Anyway, let's just bring him in. Frank A. Rincon from Half Hour Wasted.
Oh, hey! Oh, you
Frank's
caught me off guard. I'm sorry. Welcome.
I forgot to tell you we were doing this today.
Thank you. It's great to be on. Yes, I'm from the great state of Texas. Don't hold that against me. We're big and we're oddly shaped, but we have deserts and ocean and a whole bunch of middle space. But it's a great place to live.
Is everything truly bigger in Texas?
Well, for talking about my, I wanted to make a joke about my weight, but I can't get there. But yes, if we're talking about my weight, then yes, everything is bigger in Texas. I guess if I were to move to Rhode Island, I would like slim down tremendously.
So in the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure, there is a scene when he is in Texas, and to prove he's on the phone with somebody, and to prove to them that he is in Texas, he sings out, "The stars at night are big and bright," and then everybody around him, deep in the heart
of Texas.
Is that? Can I do that if I went to Texas? Would that happen?
Oh, you know what? 20 years ago, that would have definitely happened because it was like a running joke. You know, I'd be with friends, someone would do that, and then you would always get that. I don't know if you would anymore, but it's worth a shot. And you know what? People would love you for it.
I think if I ever get to Texas, I'm just going to try it. And then anybody who does it, I'm going to give them $1.
There you go.
Just going to give them $1.
That's a great way to make friends, is to give them money.
But speaking of not being able to go anywhere, how are you holding up during the pandemic?
Thanks for asking. Things are well. I'm one of those lucky people that have been able to work from home this whole time. So I've actually, that first month was kind of difficult, but now I've secretly kind of fallen in love with it, and I don't want to go back to the office. It is amazing. It is just so good. But I realize there's a lot of people who are not working, and I feel for them. As for on a social side, it has been virtually nothing. I do a podcast with Brad and Bill called Half Hour Wasted, and we meet every 2 weeks. That's always nice. We have nice text chains going. That's some good communication. I've done a couple of Zoom events with friends, and that's been a lot of fun. But for the most part, it's just me, my dog NASA, and we go for walks, and I work, and I've been playing a lot of video games.
Yeah. How's NASA?
NASA's good. She's sleeping. Guys out there, you may hear her snore during the event because she just came and rolled up next to me. But she's doing really well. I was telling Steven before we even started recording today, I took her out on a long walk, so she's nice and tired, and she should sleep for us well. She's a needy dog. She usually needs to come up and it needs a lot of petting and stuff. But she seems to be okay right now. And I purposely have some treats here in case she comes here, then I can toss them away. But I've been doing okay during the whole COVID thing. It is lonely, but I've been getting a lot of stuff done around the house. Can I ask you, how have you been doing? How are you handling the whole COVID thing?
I'm handling it great. I mean, I don't want to belittle the people who are out of work, or of course the tragedy behind COVID, but I feel like this is something I was built for, because I am a fairly antisocial person. I don't want to say I'm agoraphobic, but if I could get everything done from home, have everything delivered, just maybe not go out all that often, then I'm a pretty happy guy. So this has made things really nice for my soul. Yeah, but at the same time, it's really hard to sit back and go, this is great, because I can use this as an excuse not to go anywhere. and then you realize all the people that have lost their life because of it, and so you feel bad. But we're hanging in there. The family's good. We are very good about staying away from other people. I'm pretty much the only person that goes out, and I just go out to get the groceries. And the few times that any of the kids have gone out with me, we all wear our masks. We're mask wearers. We follow all the rules. So
yeah, I'm a rule follower too when it comes to that. And it'll be nice when things kind of get back to normal. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm really looking forward to. What I miss the most are movies.
Yeah, I never really went to movies all that much anyway because they're just too darn expensive.
Yeah.
When I was single, it was different. But you got 3 kids at home and a wife, and it's you just feel kind of selfish to go, hey, I'm gonna go see a movie. You guys just stay at home. So if I want to go see a movie, I gotta kind of take them with me. And
yeah. So like expensive. You and your wife, that's easily $20+ plus kids. You're probably looking at least what, $40 at least just to get into the theater before you even buy a soda and popcorn.
Typically, we would if we got a tax refund back around February or March. That's when we'd go see a movie. That was one of our big spends. We would go out for a night on the town, go see a movie, which always seemed to coincide. It's usually coincides with one of my daughter's birthdays. She was born in February, so she typically picked the movie. And I think
great.
We went and saw the second SpongeBob movie one year and stuff like that. So,
well, awesome.
So you are one of the hosts of Half Hour Wasted.
Yes,
for folks, I can't imagine anybody not knowing what Half Hour Wasted is. But for those who don't, tell us about Half Hour Wasted. Tell us how it kind of got started, and just tell us what the show is.
So we probably started about 10+ years ago. In fact, I know it was 10+ years ago. We just celebrated our 500th episode, and we got a lovely message from you, Steeven, which made me laugh tremendously.
I have a story about that. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay. And the show is 3 normal guys. We're all in our 40s, 50s right now. And we talk about pop culture stuff, but it's about 3 friends who are talking about pop culture stuff. And sometimes we get into arguments, but we love each other. And, we get into arguments about pop culture stuff, but we love each other. It's fun. We try to be family friendly, and we try to bring joy to people's day. Just something to kill time with. And it's called Half Hour Wasted, and we rarely stay under a half hour. But you know what? Give us a listen. We'd appreciate it. And it's just a way to kill some time.
One of the things I like about your show is the fact that you do keep it family friendly, and it's one of the things that I've always tried to do with my show as well. It seems like a lot of the podcasts out there, everybody, and I don't want to condone anybody. If you want to swear all over the place, that's your prerogative. But having kids, and when I started podcasting, it was around the same time you guys did, and my kids were fairly young. And so if I was in the car and there were a lot of podcasts I couldn't listen to in the car with my kids, but Half Hour Wasted, typically I could.
Yeah.
Even when you guys would talk about something that might be inappropriate, you would kind of dance around it, and the kids were young enough that they didn't understand what it was you were talking about.
Yeah, we kind of pride ourselves on kind of dancing around, but still acknowledging certain things. But I feel kind of the same way as you. And again, just like you, there are some talented people out there who, they just say what they say, and that's great. There's a couple of podcasts I listen to with comedians on it. They'll be blue all day, and that's great. I respect the challenge of just trying to keep it focused and stay on topic and choosing your words carefully, I guess. And plus it's kind of fun to listen to it with, your mom or your dad or your sisters or something. I just try to keep that in mind. We all do. Yeah. And, Brad, Brad and Bill have kids, so I think they're particularly more sensitive to it or aware of it than I can be sometimes.
Yep. I want to real quick. I just want to give a shout out. It looks like one of my podcast listeners, hello Kenny, has joined us live. Kenny, tip my hat to you.
Kenny, I saw your messages kind of pop up. Thank you very much for listening. Appreciate it. And I like your avatar. It's a happy little kitty.
I have two cats running around right now. They're a couple of fellas, and they're play fighting as cats do. So I have yet to have either of them interrupt during a live stream. I expect them at any moment to jump up on the keyboard because they tend to do that whenever I get my laptop out. But so far they've respected the show. Real quick, I want to tell you this story about the thing that I put together for you guys for the 500. Now, originally, so I put this, I guess we'll call it a voicemail because it was an audio thing that I put together. And I finished it all up and I was editing it down and I was getting ready to send it. And I was like, holy crap, this thing is almost 8 minutes long. There is no way that they're going to play that live on the episode. And I listened back to it probably 6 or 7 times. And I'm just the kind of person that is like, no, I can't cut that out. I can't. That's gold. I can't cut that out. So I left it the way it was, knowing that there was probably a good chance you guys weren't going to play the whole thing. But the little piece that I put together for folks who haven't maybe listened to Half Hour Wasted, Half Hour Wasted is part of a podcast network called the HHWLOD Podcast Network. It's you guys. There's a bunch of other podcasts, but you guys started it with, well, at the time they were called the Legion of Dudes, but they're called
the Legion of Dudes
now, right? Haven't they changed their name?
Yeah, basically it's just down to 2 shows now, us and the Walking Dead podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, there used to be, gosh, maybe 4 or 5 podcasts under that network. But when you can't figure out how to make money from it,
right. Well, there's this thing that you guys put in front of all your episodes, whether it's a Half Hour Wasted episode or a the Walking Dead podcast or whatever. It's like this little, what would you call that? A little thing that you put in front of every episode. Is that you're in the industry? What would they call that?
Yeah, I would call that like a bumper. And basically, it just kind of tells you what the network is about.
Right.
You're listening to a Half Hour Wasted where we talk about comic books, movies.
Yeah.
TV,
so it's like it starts out and it's basically each of you, you and Bill and well, I don't know if Bill and anyway, all the guys, each comics, movies, television, that kind of thing. Right. Well, actually 2 years ago, I put that thing together. I re-recorded it when I sent it to you guys for the 500, but I put a version of that together 2 years ago when I started podcasting again. Because right after I started podcasting, I looked out there and I said, holy crap, Half Hour Wasted is podcasting again. Because you guys had gone away for a little while and then you came back right around the same time as I did. So I put together a quick little voicemail and I added that. I put that together and I sent it out. And I guess Brad never got it. And so I was like, for a good year, I was just like, what the frick? Are they going to play this thing or not? Are they angry at me? Have I done something wrong? I'm paranoid that way.
I have done that same thing, like sent an email or something to a show I like, and I go, this is gold. Why aren't they reading it? Anyway.
Well, the thing that I think the funniest part of the story is that when I put that little piece together, basically what I did is I came up with a bunch of nonsense words that have nothing to do with anything that you guys podcast. And I interspersed them in there. So it was like comics, clocks, television, socks, that kind of thing. And I used to podcast using my phone as a microphone, sitting in my car in the parking lot at work. And so I had gone out for lunch one day and I took a note card and a pen with me. And I listened to that intro, that bumper over and over. And I just kept writing down words that I wanted to stick in there. And then I would listen to the bumper and I would read the words out and see how they fit in. And then I ended up recording it. I folded the note card, stuck it in my pocket, went home that night, took everything out of my pocket, threw it into a little bowl by the door. And at one point in the middle of the evening, my wife comes out to me holding this note card, and she goes, what is this? And it's just this note card that has like clocks, llamas, baked beans, just this list of weird things. And she was just like, why are you making a list of alpaca farms and baked beans? And so I had to explain it to her. And I'm laughing the entire time I explain it to her because I think it's so funny. And she's just shaking her head. She doesn't get it at all. So then when you guys hit your 500, I thought, all right, I'm gonna try this again. So I put another one together and I sent it out to you guys. And then when you guys played it, I ended up taking my phone into my wife and I said, listen to this. Do you remember when this happened 2 years ago? And she, of course, didn't remember at all. But I told her, I said, I'll be honest with you. I put that together mainly to make Frank laugh. I said, if Brad and Bill laugh, that's great. But Frank was my target audience when I put that together. You were who I was thinking of the entire time I was putting that together. I'd be like, clocks. I bet Frank will find that funny.
Okay, I have to admit, clocks is the one that just killed me, and I wish I knew why. It just it killed me. You did a great job. That was a home run.
Thank you. Well, Kenny wants to know about this shirt that I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah.
When I first came back to podcasting 2 years ago, I actually started with a show called Steeven or Else.
Right.
And this was my podcast badge logo thing. And I made some shirts up. And I no longer do Steeven or Else, but I still have the shirt. It has not weathered well in the laundry, but
it has that distressed look that I think a lot of people appreciate.
The artwork this was actually created by Harold Jennett. He made this. Man, the camera is like reversed, so it's hard for me to put my finger.
I'm looking at it correctly.
Yeah.
So it may be reversed for you.
Harold put this together a number of years ago. Before, I think I had been talking about 5 or 6 years ago doing a website, and he and I were talking, and I said, I need to do a website because I had been writing and I was going to start self-publishing books. And I said, I don't want to just have a stevenor.com. So what should my website be called? And then I thought, I'll do Steeven or Else, because growing up, you have a name like Or. People always say Steeven or what? And I eventually started saying Steeven or Else because I'm rough and tumble, I'm a scrapper. So that's what I called the website. And I can't remember, one day I was feeling depressed and I can't remember why. Harold and I chat all the time through Gmail. It's Hangouts now, but it was just a Gmail IM back in the day. And he was like, hey, how's it going? I'm depressed. I couldn't remember why. And then 20 minutes later, he sends me this banner for my website. And he ended up converting it into a square at one point to use as an avatar. But yeah, he just threw that together. And because he's a pretty good dude.
That is awesome. Harold Jennett is a very talented artist. I've met him in person a few times, and he used to be I wouldn't say a regular, but he had been on Half Hour Wasted a number of times. I haven't talked to him in ages. I hope he's doing well. If you happen to hear this, Harold, we miss you. We hope you're doing well, and we hope you're staying busy. By the way, I apologize. I keep messing with my glasses. So I wear glasses, and they're crooked. I'm looking at my reflection. I'm looking at my view screen. These glasses, I had to get. They're an emergency pair of glasses. Right when COVID hit, right at the end of February, I drove over my glasses. And so I had to put them together with duct tape. I went to the optometrist. They laughed at me because they looked like, they just looked horrible. I need them to see.
That's always something you want out of a medical professional, is for them to laugh at you.
Right. They're like, are you serious? And go, look, I need glasses to see, and I couldn't really see what I was doing because it was blurry. So this is what we get. And so they're like, okay. So anyway, they fill out my prescription. I end up going to, I guess it's America's Best. I just walk in, I grab the first pair of frames that fit my wide head, and I go, please fill this out. And they go, okay, good. And then like a week later, they came in the mail. But I hate these frames. They're crooked. At some point, I'll get some new frames, but I apologize for messing with my glasses so much. I don't know if it's distracting. Okay.
As long as you're not 3 knuckles deep in the nose, I think we're going
to be digging for gold is what a friend of mine used to call that. Just
I used to, before I got these thicker black glasses, I had glasses that always looked crooked, and I realized that it actually wasn't my glasses. I think it's just my ears.
Oh,
my ears make my glasses look a little crooked on my face, and it's either my ears or my eyebrows don't quite line up. So,
have you always used glasses?
Yeah, well, I started wearing glasses the summer before my freshman year of high school.
Okay. Mine is age related, so just as you get older, your eyes start to go out. And I fought it for a long time, but eventually I just needed a pair of glasses, and so now I just depend on them so much. When I was a kid, I wanted glasses though because I thought they looked so dang cool. And now that I have them, I hate them. They're the worst.
See, I can't imagine not having them. And I've tried. I went a year using contact lenses, and I hated those. Could not stand contact lenses.
Yeah. I've heard the same thing. I've considered it, but there's Kenny. He is asking. Yeah, he misses going to movies too. Any special plans for the home viewing of Wonder Woman 2? Well, I plan to get HBO Max to watch it. I'm excited about it. I have no plans to go to the movie theater because I'm trying to stay safe. I don't want to get sick. Living by myself, I'm worried that if I get sick, who's going to take care of my dog?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I had a family or something, I could at least kind of depend on them. But so I plan to see it from home. I think that's a huge deal that Warner Brothers decided to do that and show all these major motion pictures for a limited time online. I think that's brilliant. I'm kind of excited about it. I'll miss going to the movie theater.
Yeah, ever since when they announced that just a few days ago that in 2021, every movie that they put out, Warner Brothers, will also go on to HBO Max for, I think it's going to be a month. It'll be on HBO Max for a month. Then they'll take it off HBO Max to allow DVD sales and that kind of stuff. But we have Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, and just the idea of adding a fourth one to that. Well, first of all, I don't think HBO Max is on the Roku yet, which is what I think it's close. I don't think it's on the Roku yet, but it's the most expensive of those streaming services. Now, if they're going to start putting brand new movies on there as they're released, that makes it worth that money. But we would have to cancel one or two of the other services to get HBO Max, and where there's stuff we watch on all three of those.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, I'm supposed to have Brad on this streaming thing. We're going to do a live stream, I think, in 2 weeks, the Sunday after the final episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian comes out. He and I are going to come on and talk about The Mandalorian, which I want to talk about it with you, but I need to save it for Brad. But it's so good. It is so good.
I was very surprised by that. I didn't know what to expect when I heard it was announced. In my mind, of course I'm wrong now, but in my mind I thought it was going to be kind of low budgety and real talky, but it's not. It's just it's very well made. It's action packed. The storytelling is amazing, and I'll save that for you and Brad to kind of dig in deep.
I will say this. Yes, Kenny, way too expensive. I mean, Netflix actually, I think, has just gone up to $13.99 a month. So I think they're now $1 less, because I think HBO Max is $14.99.
Yeah,
so
something
Netflix
like that.
is pushing it. But yeah,
well,
I will say this.
I look at it with HBO is that's the price of a movie ticket, essentially. So I'm going to get Wonder Woman and some other content. I'll keep it for a month, and then I'll drop it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point, because there's a lot of, when they listed just some of the movies that are coming out next year, the new Godzilla versus King Kong is one of them. I'm trying to think of some of the others that I just said. Oh my God. What's that? Dune? Yeah.
Dune.
I'm not a huge Dune guy. Never have been. We'll see what the movie does for me. I am trying to get Bill to come on to an episode as well. Hopefully Bill doesn't hear this and go, he just strikes my name off of his contact list. But
Bill is super busy because of his job and stuff. So he has to work hard on this schedule to kind of make things work.
Yeah, we're talking about maybe January.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to. Let's see.
And while you're doing that,
you get some shaving done.
Okay. Oh, there we go. We got it.
Okay, so you should see a black screen now, correct?
I see a black screen.
Okay, so in order for me to do this, I can't actually see you anymore.
Okay.
So, but I put this up here because I want to try something new. This is the first time I'm ever doing this, but I want to play Steeven's game.
Steeven's game. Okay.
Wait, watch this. You ready? Watch. Dun, 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 dun.
Whoa.
There's no audio, so I got it.
We got lovely animation. Love it. It looks like you're wearing Mickey Mouse ears too.
I am. And I'm super happy about it. But this isn't just Steeven's game. This is the Simpsons edition.
I'm a huge Simpsons fan.
Okay, so this is going to be done in 3 rounds. Total, this game, by the time it's done, you have the capability of winning 100 points. It doesn't actually win you anything, but earning 100 points. Our first round is trivia. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Give it to me.
Okay, I'm going to give you a question. These will be multiple choice. So I'll give you a question, and then I'll give you your multiple choice answers. Ready?
Ready.
Question 1. This is for 5 points. What is the name of the Simpsons' pet dog? Is it A, Curly Joe, B, Santa's Little Helper, C, Snowball, or D, Scooby Dude?
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't even need the multiple choice questions because I'm a huge fan. They got their dog on the first episode of The Simpsons, and the dog's name is Santa's Little Helper.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
The correct answer is Santa's Little Helper. Yeah, I gave you a softball. I threw a softball on that first one. I even knew that one, and I'm kind of I've watched some Simpsons, but I'm not a huge super fan. I will say real quick.
That's another advantage of having Disney Plus is they have the back catalog of all the Simpsons, which I'll occasionally throw on and watch.
Yeah. I will say that final option, Scooby Dude. I had a friend in high school who had a dog named Scooby Dude.
Oh, that is an awesome name.
So if you're watching, Paul, that was for you. All right, question 2, also worth 5 points. I should probably be tallying up the points here. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll do that too. I don't even keep a pen on my desk anymore.
Yeah, I totally wasn't ready for this.
Okay, I got 5 points. I'm keeping score too.
I'm using my Red Nose Day Walgreens pin. All right, question number 2. Which cartoon inspired the Itchy and Scratchy show? Was it A, Sylvester and Tweety, B, Tom and Jerry, C, Scooby-Doo, or D, Attack on Titan?
Okay, so I don't know this, but I'm going to assume it's B, Tom and Jerry.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
The correct answer is Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, cat and mouse.
Yeah. So that gets you another 5 points.
5 points, got it. By the way, apparently there's a new Tom and Jerry movie coming out, and that's going to be part of the HBO Max. They're doing a new animated series, like high-end animation for Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. It's one of those live action mixed with animation. It's set in a hotel, and Tom and Jerry are the only animated characters, and everybody else is real. and Jerry is a mouse at the hotel, and they bring in Tom to try to get rid of Jerry. I'll be honest with you, doesn't look good. I'm a big Tom and Jerry fan. I love those old Tom and Jerry cartoons, but
did they talk in the preview?
No, they don't talk. Tom and Jerry don't talk. All right. Question number 3, also worth 5 points. What is Marge Simpson's natural hair color? Is it A, gray, B, green, C, black, or D, plaid?
Okay. So I'm thinking back to an episode where she dyes her hair blue because she's as gray as a mule, is the line in there. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's gray.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
The correct answer is gray. Another 5 points for Frank.
15 points.
You're just sailing away, man. The third round, I think, is going to be kind of hard. I'm really looking forward to the third round. All right. Question number 4, also worth 5 points. What is Bart's full name? Is it A, Bartholomew Vance Simpson, B, Bartholomew Jojo Simpson, C, Bartholomew Ray Simpson, or D, Archibald J. Frankfurter III?
You know what? This is funny. I'm not sure about this one. I'm gonna have to guess. Vance doesn't seem certain. Jojo and Ray really feel familiar. I think Jojo was the name of a gorilla or a monkey. I'm gonna say Jojo, B.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
The correct answer, Frank, for 5 points, Bartholomew Jojo Simpson. All right, here is the final question for round 1.
Okay.
Question number 5, also worth 5 points. What's the name of the retirement home where Homer's father, Abraham, lives? Is it A, the Springfield Retirement Fortress, B, the Springfield Retirement Palace, C, the Springfield Retirement Castle, or D, the Death Star?
It would be awesome if it was the Death Star, but it is Castle. C.
C, is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see if you made a clean sweep of round 1. The answer is the Springfield Retirement Castle.
I had to guess at one of those. I did not know JoJo.
You got 25 points so far, Frank.
All right.
All right, round 2 is Who Said It? I'm going to give you a quote from one of the characters. This will also be multiple choice. So you'll get the quote. I'll give you a choice of 4 different characters. You tell me who said it. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Quote number 1, 5 points. There'll be 5 of them. Each one is worth 5 points. I'd rather let 1,000 guilty men go free than chase after them. Was this A, Sergeant Lou, B, Chief Clancy Wiggum, C, Officer Eddie, or D, Tommy Chong?
I already went ahead and gave myself 5 points. It's Chief Clancy Wiggum.
It is Chief Clancy Wiggum.
Such a good line.
That is a good line, yeah. All right. Quote number 2. Go out on a Tuesday? Who am I? Charlie Sheen? Was it A, Barney Gumble, B, Otto Mann, C, Marge Simpson, or D, Charlie Sheen?
Okay. This is another guess, but I have to assume it is Marge Simpson because Marge is the only one who would think Charlie Sheen is super cool.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Marge Simpson.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about this one is this was the first time, again, I've watched a lot of Simpsons, but I'm not a huge Simpsons person. This is the first time I realized or discovered that Otto's last name is actually Mann. Bart always says Auto Man when he sees him, but I just thought it was like, what's up, man? Auto Man, that's his actual last name. I found that very funny.
And that was we see that on his license.
I don't.
If you remember, I think we see it on his license. Anyway, continue.
We may have. Yeah. All right. Quote number 3. Oops, lost a nail. Well, that's leprosy for you. Was that A, Mr. Burns, B, Krusty the Clown, C, Mo Sizlak, or D, Charlie Sheen?
Charlie Sheen may be saying that at some point because he seems to have like every disease in the world, but it is Mr. Burns. I believe he was giving someone he was talking about friendship, and he was handing someone like a glass of lemonade or something, and his nail fell off. But Mr. Burns.
It is Mr. Burns.
Well, that's leprosy for you.
Quote number 4. You ready?
Yes, sir.
It's not easy to juggle a pregnant wife and a troubled child, but somehow I managed to fit in 8 hours of TV a day. Was that Ned Flanders, B, Homer Simpson, C, Bumblebee Man, or D, Charlie Sheen?
I'm going to have to give that to Homer Simpson, and I think that was before Lisa. Lisa and Maggie were born. So Homer Simpson.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
Homer Simpson is correct. All right. This is the last quote. And as a personal note, this is my favorite one of the 5.
Good.
Well, he's kind of had it in for me since I accidentally ran over his dog. Actually, replace accidentally with repeatedly and replace dog with son. Who said it? Was it A, Lionel Hutz, B, Shirley Duff, C, Disco Stew, or D, Charlie Sheen?
I watched this episode yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Margin Chains is what it's called, and it's Lionel Hutz.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
See, I thought I was going to get you with that one.
I watched that one yesterday.
That's my favorite quote. Replace accidentally with repeatedly and replace dog with son.
And I believe that was Judge Snyder's son, too.
Lionel Hutz. He was voiced by Phil Hartman. Is that correct?
Yes, he was. Quick side note, I was watching a YouTube video where they kind of were showcasing certain characters, and they were showcasing Lionel Hutz. And they talked about Phil Hartman and about all of Lionel Hutz's appearances. And they talked about this particular one, Margin Chains. And so I said, I'm going to watch that.
Nice. See, it was meant to be.
Yes, exactly. I got 50 points.
Yeah, you're sweeping this. Now, you're not gonna get the full 100 points. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Okay.
This next round is round 3. It's called Name That Character. And there are 5 in this. Each one has a potential of 10 points each. But the way it's going to work is I have found 5 different Simpsons characters or photos of 5 different Simpsons characters as Funko Pop vinyl figures.
Oh.
And what I've done is I've created a video that is completely zoomed in on that character. And it's going to slowly zoom out in 10 seconds. It's going to take 10 seconds to go from this to where you see the full character. And so at any point during those 10 seconds, if you can guess who it is, you tell me to stop. I will stop the video. If you have it correct, then however many seconds are left, that's your number of points.
Got it. This is a good contest.
This is a I'll be honest with you, I kind of stole this idea from Good Mythical Morning. But anyway, here's an example. This is not a Simpsons character. This is an example of what it's going to look like.
Okay. Oh, you're right. There's no way I'm going to get the 10 points. Okay, stop. That's J.J. Abrams, I thought.
No.
It was an example, I understand, but
That was not J.J. Abrams. And I used somebody, just a real person, to make it even more difficult on this one. This is celebrated author Stephen King.
oh my gosh. Okay, I don't think I would have ever gotten that.
Yeah, the Simpsons ones will be easier.
Okay, I swear that's J.J. Abrams, but he is holding a book, so I guess that makes him Stephen King.
Okay, oops, I'm doing this one again. Hold on. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here's the first one. Tell me when to stop when you think you have it.
Okay.
And we are starting now.
Okay, red and yellow band. No real features yet. Okay, stop. Millhouse, Van Houten.
Millhouse, you get 1 point for that because it got to 9 seconds.
Okay.
I told you this one's going to be hard.
I know.
Let's go ahead and finish it out.
Yep, Millhouse.
I like Millhouse.
He is a great character. He's a sad sack, and he usually has great lines.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorites, and he's not at all in any of these games. Chief Wiggum, what's his name?
Ralph.
Ralphie. He's got the best lines.
He does.
All right. Here goes number 2. Are you ready?
Yes.
I am starting now.
Okay, I'm seeing a bulge, yellow bulge, purple stop. That is Bartman.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay, you're at basically 7 seconds. Let's see. That is Bartman. It gives you 3 points.
3 points. Gotcha.
All right. Number 3. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm starting now.
Okay. I see like a nose. Okay, so that's the nose. The eyes are coming in. Stop. Chief Wiggum.
Chief Wiggum for 1 point.
1.5. The moment I saw the blue and the black underneath his chin, that's when I knew it.
See, like I said, I kind of ripped this off from I don't know if you've ever watched Good Mythical Morning. It's a YouTube show. Every once in a while, they'll do episodes where they will do stuff where they will like they do a bunch of different things. Like they will have something that has been melted, and they will play it being melted in reverse. Oh. And they have to figure out what it is before it's completed, or something being built by Lego in a time lapse, and they'll play that stuff. So it's kind of
this is a good gag. I like this.
Okay, so that was number 3. This is number 4.
Okay.
And I am going to start now.
Okay, we have like a tan, something tan. You don't see that color a lot. Stop. That is Grandpa Simpson.
Grandpa Simpson. Let's see. This is 6.5 seconds. I will give you 4 points for this if that's correct.
Okay. So 9 total.
It's Grandpa Simpson.
Now, for a moment, I thought that was the director of the play where Marge was in the Streetcar Named Desire, the musical. There's the director in there is very flamboyant and angry. I thought it was him for just a moment, but it turned out to be Grandpa.
No, I will help you out for this last one. None of these characters, with the exception of maybe Bartman, are they're not really obscure.
Okay.
All right, last one. Are you ready?
Yes.
I am going to start now. Oh, dang it.
Okay. Okay, I'm closing my eyes.
Okay, you ready?
All right, eyes opening. Yes.
I'm going to start now.
Okay. I see like a yellow curve, some vampire teeth, maybe. Stop. That is Barney Gumble. The Town Drunk.
Okay, for 3 points. Let's see if you're correct.
Ta-da!
Barney Gumble. So let's see. That's 7, 8, 9, 12 points plus 50. You got 62 out of 100 points.
I think I would have done. I'm going to brag about myself. I think I did a little better than most people out there would, especially on the fun kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, you swept the freaking trivia in quotes. I knew, like I said, I knew you were not going to get. I think if I do this with other folks, like I'm thinking about putting together something like this for Brad with Star Wars stuff, and so I want to do this for Brad, and then if I get Bill on, just to see which one of you guys scores the most points. But I don't know, you'd have to be a freaking genius or have the answers to get 100 points, you know?
I think with Bill, if you were to do Star Trek characters, I don't know if Funko makes Star Trek, that would be his bailiwick.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. I have one other little thing to play here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I did not have this one ready because I didn't know if we would have time to do it.
Understood completely. I am, while you're doing that, let me think of something funny to say. Bananas.
Is bananas funny?
That's the first thing that popped in my head. I used to always kind of I do a lot of writing in my job, and so one of the rules I kind of apply when I'm writing is the first thing you come up with isn't usually the best. Go with the second thing, and that's usually where you'll go. That's where you'll get a funnier response. But in that case, I went with the first thing, which was bananas, which I should have. But I felt like under pressure because there was dead air. Nobody was talking.
So it looks like Kenny, since I couldn't see the anything but the PowerPoint as we were doing that, Kenny left a lot of comments during the game.
Oh yeah.
At one point, he said, "We keep guessing the same."
Good.
He said, "Simpsons genius." Right there. I'm assuming he's talking to you.
Thank you, Kenny.
No one would say that was Stephen King. And the last one, he did better than me.
Thank you,
Thank
Kenny.
you for playing along, Kenny. All right, so I'm going to share the screen one more time.
Yes, sir. And while you're doing that, I can let our listener or your listeners know that Half Hour Wasted is going on a small hiatus, maybe for just a couple of weeks. We're going to have something called random audio files kind of pop up in the next weeks just to kind of fill in time. So there's something on the feed there. So that's just an FYI for anyone listening.
Yeah, it's nice when you can do that. When not only can you take a break, but you can also still have stuff to fill in that break. I try to do that. I do my show in seasons. I don't have Just Another Fanboy. I don't have a specific schedule because I think the first season was like 72 episodes and the second season was about 40 some episodes. And I think this season will be about 48 episodes. But I try to put stuff in between each season just to have something for people to listen to while I'm gone. It allows me to take a break. And I think like between season 2 and season 3, I put together a bunch of like kind of clip shows, stuff that was already recorded that I clipped together. And so I still had to put some work into it, but not as much as I would have just recording episodes.
Yeah.
And I think I've already talked about this on Just Another Fanboy, but I am going to be ending season 3 on December 31st. And then I won't be back until the third week of February. But during the time that I'm off, I'm going to be putting all of these live streams up as audio episodes over on the Just Another Fanboy feed. So
Gotcha.
Anybody who doesn't like YouTube and just shies away from YouTube and hates watching videos, they can still listen to them. Now,
YouTube.
Walmart and YouTube, you're both evil. But now anybody listening to this, when they get to the section where we're looking at the videos of the Funko Pop, that's not going to be as fun to them to listen to. But, you know, we all make our sacrifices, right?
Right. Hey, it looks like we have a someone new in the room, a guy named Alan New Mutant.
Oh, Alan.
And he misses you. He hasn't seen you in 15 years.
Alan, my friend, I love you. Do you know New Mutant? Do you know Alan?
No, I don't think so. And if I do, Alan, I apologize.
Alan has been a listener of Just Another Fanboy from the first time around 10 years ago.
Great.
Got a lot of love for Alan.
All right.
Alan, I give you a cyber hug. Since I'm a dude, it's muscly.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's start this thing. This is a little something I'm calling headlines.
Headlines. Okay.
It would be nice if there's music. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 headlines I found out there on the interwebs over the last week. And then you decide which one sounds the most interesting, and I will read the article and we'll talk about it.
Gotcha.
All right. Headline number 1. Tourist mails back stolen Roman marble. Apologizes for being an American a-hole. These all come from the Huffington Post, I should say.
Okay.
Headline number 2, squirrel gets drunk on fermented pear because acorns can't dull the pain.
Oh.
And headline number 3, is Duncan's $500 tandem bike real? An investigation.
Golly. Okay, so these are all kind of great story headlines. The Duncan $500 tandem bike, I'm going to toss out. I'm torn between the squirrel and the marble. Poor squirrel's probably in pain. We'll go with the marble story. Roman marble returned.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of squirrels. I got them all in my backyard. They make me happy. I don't want to hear about squirrels. If that were the case.
You chose the squirrel?
No.
You chose the Roman marble.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pull up the Roman marble story.
And you said these are all from HuffPo?
The Huffington Post. Let me get rid of this ad. All right. A self-described American a-hole mailed a piece of marble taken from Italy back to the National Roman Museum with a note apologizing for snatching it in the first place. The museum posted an image of the package on its Facebook page Monday with a piece of marble that someone named Jess had apparently given to a person named Sam. Let me share this so you can see it.
I have a funny story about a European museum. I went to the Louvre. This was years ago. I know it's not Rome, but I saw a woman touching statues, and I knew it wasn't my place, but I went to go talk to her about it. And it turned out she was blind, and this was a section of the museum where they allowed you to touch the statues.
Here's Alan's note back to you about not sure if you knew him or not.
Yeah, back from the Comic Geek Speak days. Alan, hope you're doing well. Thanks for the reminder. And let's look at that. So I see a box with a whole bunch of crumpled paper, but I can't see the item in question. Can you describe it?
It's I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's right here. And it says to Sam, love Jess. And then I think it says Rome 2012.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of paper, packing paper, and then the marble is right in the middle of it. So the person who took the marble sent a message with the package, which the Italian newspaper reprinted. To whom it may concern, I would like to return this rock to its rightful place, anywhere within the Roman ruins, and I would greatly appreciate your assistance. Please forgive me for being such an American a-hole and taking something that was not mine to take. I feel terribly for not only taking this item from its rightful place, but placing writing on it as well. That was extremely wrong of me, and now I realize in my later adult life how inconsiderate and disrespectful that was. I have attempted many hours of scrubbing and cleaning to remove, but to no success. Please forgive me.
Way to go, this gentleman, for returning that. That is a piece of ancient history. I know it was fun to grab it, but that is cool that you made an effort to do it.
It's nice that they finally came to their senses, but it's stuff like that that makes the rest of the world hate Americans.
He ruins it for everybody when you do that kind of stuff.
But
I can understand wanting a piece of something when you travel to somewhere interesting, but you know, it belongs to that country. And I know it's just a rock or marble, but you know, that's where it belongs.
Well, the National Roman Museum's director goes on to tell the newspaper that the package was sent from Atlanta. The marble fragment is potentially a piece of the Roman Forum that had limited value. He believed the sender was a young woman, perhaps the Jess inscribed on the marble itself. Quote, from its tone, we imagine it was a young woman, he said. In 2017, she must have come to Rome and took this fragment of marble in order to gift it to her boyfriend. It made an impact on me precisely because she is young. She understood that she had made a mistake.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You know, I've often heard of these stories where, especially when you travel to Hawaii, you're not supposed to take lava rocks, I believe, because if you do, you'll be cursed. Wasn't that an episode of the Brady Bunch or something along those lines? Yeah. But that's definitely stuck with me, that story. And I never want to take anything of historical value like that. And, you know, I don't think anyone else out there should.
Well, you know, I'd like to say that I'm not guilty of that, but when I went to visit White Sands, New Mexico, and there are signs all over the place saying, don't take any of the sand. I'm not going to admit my guilt, but I'll just say,
shrug.
For those listening to the audio later, I'm shrugging my shoulders and nodding knowingly. Wink, wink. So yeah, and on the Brady Bunch, it was a little totem that was on a necklace that one of them got. They thought it was good luck, and then everybody who ended up wearing it, something bad happened to them. Greg almost drowned when he was surfing. One of them had a spider crawl into their bed or something, and yeah. The Brady Bunch was my show back in the day.
Yeah, that and Gilligan's Island. I thought Gilligan's Island was just the best show ever. And then I'm sure you grew up with some type of block of the Three Stooges or Little Rascals running in the afternoon.
Yep.
I used to love the Three Stooges, but as I got older and I watched one, I thought they were kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, and you definitely, knowing what we know about the Little Rascals now, you can't really watch that and have any fun with it, knowing that they were all basically indentured servants, you know.
Oh, you see that I wasn't aware of, but it doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah.
In fact, Mo Sislak from The Simpsons claims to have been the first alfalfa. And
yes.
And he was like he says, yeah, I was basically an orphan to the studio, to the movie studios.
Yeah, I was trying to find some information on it, but if I remember correctly, of course it was. I don't think any of the kids got any money out of the deal. It was basically child labor. They were almost. Wish I could find.
No, I totally believe it and understand it, and especially back then. But I have discovered that going back to and review things that I used to love, like the Like I recently rewatched an episode of The $6 Million Man, which happened to be on broadcast TV. And I watched about 15 minutes of it and just realized that my memory was so much better than the show itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That happens to me a lot nowadays. You know, as a kid, one of my most favorite cartoons ever was Robotech. It was like the first time I found something that had a continuous narrative. It wasn't just each episode was its own little story. They all tied together. It told one big story. And as a kid, that just blew my mind. And they only played them before school at like 6 in the morning or something. So I would get up early and watch them. And then as soon as streaming services became available, I think it was on Netflix. It might still be on Netflix, but I've tried to watch them and they're okay. I mean, I think they're still quite ahead of their time, obviously, because, you know, Japanese animation back then compared to American animation back then, it's just completely different. But knowing now that basically there were, I don't know if you ever watched Robotech, but it was 3 different seasons that told ultimately one big story, but they were set in almost 3 different timelines, kind of. Well, you find out later as you grow up that each season was actually 3 completely separate shows in Japan. Oh. And the American producers or something bought the rights, and then when they re-recorded all the voices, overdubbed them and stuff, they created their own story and managed to write it in such a way and edit it in such a way that the 3 seasons, quote unquote, tied together as if they were in the same universe, but they're not at all. And
wow.
It's pretty interesting when you learn that kind of stuff. But
so I never watched Robotech, but I did watch the Battleship one. The name is escaping me right now. Big battleship, had a laser in the front of it, and it was this epic story. You know, it's going to come to me as soon as we finish recording here. But it was a Japanese cartoon as well, and that had an overarching arc too that I remember as a kid loving.
Well, the very first season of Robotech had a big battleship. Let me see if I can find some photos of this thing. I don't think it had a big laser gun at the front of it, though. I'm not.
Oh, look who just woke up. Hey, beautiful. I'm giving her a treat.
So you said beautiful, and I just assume you're talking about me.
my dog. I tend to call her sweetie and beautiful, especially when we go out to the park and stuff. I'm always worried that people are gonna like a woman's gonna say, "Hey, sweetie, come here," and they think I'm talking to them and not my dog.
Yeah. Here, let me share this real quick. This is the one day I'll be quicker at this, and it'll be almost.
That's what editing's for, anyway. Okay, that's not what I was thinking about. So you shared a picture of a spaceship that is very, very mech looking.
Yep.
Lots of pieces and parts and stuff, but yeah. The one I'm thinking of, definitely, if I remember correctly, I believe it was an old battleship that was converted into a spaceship. And they attached a giant laser to the front. Star Blazers.
Is that it?
Yes, that's what it is. There you go.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds super freaking. It sounds very familiar. I'd never watched Star Blazers, but I know that a lot of people did. I know that was one of those really super popular ones back in the day, but it wasn't one that I watched. But Star Blazers.
I went back and watched it. Maybe it was probably on Hulu in the early days of streaming Hulu, and I rewatched it. And that one I thought held up. But for the most part, a lot of the shows that we liked as kids, especially if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, just aren't as good as we remember.
Right. Did you ever watch Battle of the Planets?
No, I wanted to. We didn't get that in our where I grew up. We did get Star Blazers, and just like you, it started at 6 a.m. So if I wanted to see it, I had to wake up super early, and I'm not. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, Alan was trying to tell us the whole time.
Thank you, Alan.
Looking for it. Alan's like, come on.
And look, that was the wave motion gun. Yeah, Alan, your messages just started popping up. Thank you, Alan.
There's a really good YouTube channel called Toy Galaxy.
I love that guy.
Do you ever watch those?
Yeah.
He does an episode about Battle of the Planets, which is really interesting. It's just about how a lot of that was changed from its original version for American TV, and they even added animation to it to make it more Americanized. They added a cute robot and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that's pretty.
I recently learned that. What is the name of that show? It's a '90s show. It's the guys who are the robots, and they combine to make a giant robot. And they have
Voltron?
colors. I'm sorry?
Voltron?
Not Voltron, but it's live action. Anyway, that was a Japanese show, and it has all these people in costumes fighting like old Godzilla movies. That was originally. I'm sorry?
Power Rangers?
Power Rangers. That's it. I just couldn't think of it. Power Rangers originally was a Japanese show, and they basically replaced all the non-costume parts with American actors and did their own stories. So they used the fighting scenes and the costume scenes and created their own stories for America. So similar along the lines of what you were described, like Battle of the Planets.
Yeah. Not a Power Rangers guy.
Yeah, it was a little. I was a little past it. I know people love it.
I was too old for Power Rangers, but I would catch it every once in a while, and I would think, if this was on 10 years ago, I would have been all over this show. This would have been my freaking show.
Exactly. Same thing. I thought the exact same thing.
I did watch the movie, the big budget Hollywood movie they put out a couple of years ago, and found it just to be ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure it was meant to be ridiculous, but it just wasn't for me. It's not my show.
Yeah, it depends on when you grow up and stuff. Just like you said, I remember that coming on, and I was thinking I would be into that. Same thing with SpongeBob. I was never able to get into SpongeBob, but I felt the same way. She goes, man, this humor is so good, but I just can't latch onto it. But I know it's brilliant. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Speaking of Japanese shows, have you watched? Did you say you have Disney Plus?
Yes.
We'll talk about this real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. And but have you watched any of the 616 documentaries on there?
No, I've seen them, but I haven't.
The first one is really good. It's all about the Japanese Spider-Man TV show. It is so good. It's such a great. Most of it is in Japanese because they talked to a lot of the people that worked on it, like the guy who played. They had one guy in the suit, and then they had another guy that played what would be their version of Peter Parker, even though he wasn't Peter Parker. Their Spider-Man was nothing like our Spider-Man. The only similarity was the costume and that he climbed on walls and he had webbing. Otherwise, it was Power Rangers before Power Rangers.
Really?
And they even make mention in the show that shows like Power Rangers derived a lot of their inspiration from the Japanese Spider-Man. A lot of the shows that came after, because a lot of the shows at that time were endorsed or funded by toy companies in Japan. And so a lot of the characters would be designed by these toy companies because they would have to make toys for them. And so one of the guys that worked for the toy company that helped fund the show was trying to come up with something really exciting for the show. And he created a giant robot that Spider-Man gets into and drives around, and they made a toy out of it. And so sometimes Spider-Man will be fighting these, regular sized monsters and whatnot. And then sometimes he'll be in his big giant robot that doesn't look anything like Spider-Man. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man, but it's a big robot and he's fighting monsters, and it's really fun looking. It was a really fun looking show. But that's definitely that's definitely an episode you should check out. Is that 616? It's the very first one.
Yeah, it's popped up. Basically, all I'm doing on Disney is Mandalore and Simpsons. But I know there's I've been meaning to watch Hamilton because I love the soundtrack. I'm only familiar with the soundtrack. I haven't watched Hamilton yet because I'm afraid that the version I'll be disappointed with the version I have in my head because I'm so familiar with the soundtrack that I'm afraid I'll watch it and I'll go.
Yeah, I haven't even heard the soundtrack. I keep needing to watch it. It's like one of those things that everybody in this house wants to watch it, but we just haven't yet. And I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely check out that Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man. I've heard of it, and I've definitely seen small video clips of it, and it seems so weird and just it feels like, from what I've seen, it's like if someone told you what Spider-Man was, but they didn't have a good idea of it, and then they told it to another person, and then another person, and then that person ended up making a show. That's what this Spider-Man would be.
The guy who becomes Spider-Man on the show, he's like he races motorcycles. He lives with his little sister and little brother, I think. And their father dies, and he gets injured witnessing his father dying or something. The bad guys come after him, and he escapes by falling. He goes into a cave, and he falls down in a pit where he meets an alien spider dude who looks like a regular dude, but he's like an alien spider guy who gives him some of his blood, which turns him into Spider-Man. And they talked about how they had to film a lot of stuff out in the woods because they would blow stuff up, and they would get complaints in the city. If they were blowing stuff up, they'd be too loud, and they would get complaints, and the police would come. And so they had to go out into the woods. They'd have to write stuff so he'd be fighting monsters in the woods just so they could blow stuff up. And the guy who was in the Spider-Man suit did all of his own stunts, and a lot of them were just like really dangerous. And it's really interesting. It's really fun to watch.
All right,
the guy who played their Peter Parker, I don't remember what his name was. He talks so fondly about the show, and at one point, I think he's even got a tear in his eyes. He's talking about playing that character, and it's really good. It's a fun little documentary to watch.
Awesome.
All right. Before we wrap this up, I got one last question for you. Since we got Christmas coming up, I know that everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas, so I'm just going to say we got the holiday season coming up. Do you have any traditions that you do, whether it's I always watch a certain movie on Christmas Eve, or there are certain things that you do, whether it's alone or with your family or whatever? Is there anything you always do around the holidays that you do every year?
Tradition-wise, other than when I was with my family, sometimes we would do a movie, but then again, everyone kind of does that. We were always a Christmas morning family where we opened up the presents. We didn't do Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, there is no real tradition I have other than I love driving around in the morning, Christmas morning, and looking at all the empty stores. Like I'll drive by what is usually a very crowded Target or Walmart. There's always but there's something kind of neat about driving by and nobody is there.
Yeah, just the empty streets. Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, as time has gone on, we now have stores that have their Black Friday sales on Thanksgiving Day. That makes me kind of sad. I kind of wish we had days where just things were closed. That's not really a tradition, but it is something I do almost every Christmas, is just take that drive around and just look at all the empty parking lots. But nothing, I don't really watch a movie. I don't really do anything that would be considered a tradition. How about you? Let me turn it back to you.
My kids and I watch A Christmas Story every Christmas Eve. Last year, since we got Disney Plus, I've got A Christmas Story on DVD, and I keep it in storage with the Christmas decorations. So when we pull the Christmas decorations out, we get that. But then last year, after we watched it, we were just looking on Disney Plus and seeing what Christmas stuff they have on there, and so we ended up watching the Muppets Christmas Carol. And my daughter said this year, she said, Dad, this Christmas Eve, I want to watch Christmas Story, but I also want to watch a Muppets Christmas Carol. We got to do that every year now too. She goes, I forgot how good that movie is. And so that's going to be added to our new tradition. We used to always go to my parents' house Christmas morning. We would get up, open our presents, and then right away, I'll take showers and get dressed and, go out to my parents. A number of years ago, we had a huge blizzard on Christmas Day, like Christmas Eve throughout Christmas Day. And so that morning we were not leaving the house, and we stayed home. And it was, I gotta say, it was like one of the best Christmases ever, because we got to get up, kids got to open their gifts, and then we just didn't have to do anything for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So at that point, by the next Christmas, we had told my family we're staying home. We would end up going and doing something with them like the weekend after. But then, of course, this Christmas, nobody's going anywhere because of COVID. Yeah. But we actually had to, the nice thing about my kids being a little older is we've had to let them know that Christmas is going to be different this year because of COVID. Thankfully, I have my job. My job didn't go anywhere. Very thankful for that. My wife, on the other hand, isn't working because of COVID. She worked for the school district. She was a paraprofessional for like special needs kids, but she's not doing that. And so we don't have that income this year. And we basically told them, said, if we can swing it, you guys will get a Christmas present this year, but we may have to wait until we get that tax refund, and then we'll have Christmas in February. And they're okay with that. That's a nice thing about having kids that are 15 years and up, because they understand.
Oh, but totally. Okay.
We're going to set up the Christmas tree, which will be fun with the 2 cats. I don't know how that's going to happen. But, yeah. That's what we're doing.
It's nice to think that maybe this Christmas people will kind of realize that maybe it's not all about the presents, and maybe it's more just about the hanging out, and be more like Thanksgiving. That's what I love about Thanksgiving. It's just about hanging out with family and friends, and it'd be nice if that's what Christmas was more about too.
Yeah, we didn't do any kind of meal for Thanksgiving this year because none of us were feeling it, but we're probably, since the Christmas is going to be different this year, I think we're going to do some kind of meal for Christmas at home. So that'll be our big thing. Yeah. Well, Frank, I absolutely loved having you on. Maybe we can do this again in a couple months. And
I'm sorry, what?
If I tried that right now, it'd go wow.
No, I'd love that too. Yeah, let's keep it open. I'd love to come back. It'd be fun.
Maybe you can better your score. Maybe we could do another Simpsons game, and you can get up to 63.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
And then we'll see. I'll try to put something together for Brad and Bill, and we'll see how well they do. I'll make sure and let them know how many points you got. Throw that challenge out to them. I'm not going to go easy on them. Like I said, not being a big Simpsons fan, there were certain questions that I was like, I know this one. So obviously Frank is going to know this one. But I thought some of those were going to be hard for you. I thought that Lionel Hutz quote, I mean, he's a regular. He's not really a regular, but he's on enough episodes. But I figured he's not gonna get that one.
It would have been interesting had I not watched that episode yesterday. If I had gotten that, because I don't know if I did, but I mean that was fresh in my mind.
Yeah, they call that serendipity.
Yeah.
All right, Frank. It was great having you. I hope you have a good holiday season. Stay safe out there. Give NASA a big hug for me. tell Brad and Frank, tell Brad and Bill. I always, no offense to Bill, but when I first started listening to Half Hour Wasted, it was just you and Brad. So I always think, when I think Brad and Frank. So I can't say Brad without saying Frank.
Yeah, I get that totally. But I'll let the gang know. I'll let Bill and Brad know, and I think you'll have a lot of fun when they're on your show too.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Great.
All right, Frank. See you later.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye, guys.